not know you, Ms. Sheree, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. First of all, my name is Sheree Darien, and I am a mother of 4 wonderful children. I have been married to my high school sweetheart, Edward, for over 24 years. I'm a daddy's girl, and I love flying in airplanes. I'm not a pilot, but I just like to be in the air. It's just something about flying that I absolutely love. It's just, I don't know, some crazy fascination that I have. And it's every opportunity I get to actually fly, that's it. I would rather fly if I had to every day versus getting in my car. That's how much I seriously like flying.
Oh, wow. It's funny because most people you hear say they hate flying.
I know. I told you it's weird, but it's a part of my DNA. So.
Okay, that's a different perspective. I know other people probably feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, we always got that little weird thing, okay, but it's me, and that's another thing about me. I want our audience to really understand and hopefully appreciate is my transparency, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but that's just who I am. I'm that easy, approachable, easy to talk to person.
Okay, great. Well, that's great for us as well. We love to hear that.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us, what made you want to run for Senate?
Wow. I get this question. Everybody's asking me this question now, right, with these interviews and things, and so I look forward to it, though. But there's a favorite quote that I have that's by Mark Twain, and it simply says, the 2 most important days of your life are the day that you are born and the day you find out why. This is my why. This is my why. I decided to run as a way to honor my classmate, my friend, and my service mentor, now the late Reverend Senator Clemente Pinckney. And my motive is really simple. It's just service. I don't have any agenda that I'm trying to promote at all, not any selfish one. I'm just trying to be an advocate for the people. So it really, for me, it feels like a calling.
Okay. So you feel like that is where God put you, why he put you on earth for?
That's it. And I did not know, but there was a lot of transitions to get me to this point. One that, again, the most people will not do. And what I mean by that, I actually left position at a commercial bank, and I quit that job to start a bank. I left a bank to start a bank. And every time I say that, people are like, what? You going to start a bank? Yes, I left that bank to start a bank, and I don't want to get too deep in the business because the business side will come in and take over. It's like I just changed heads, okay? but the business acumen just flows because it's just in my DNA too now, of course. But where I was in a system. I was in a system that did not match my target audience. What I mean by that, where I live is where I was born and actually raised. But I also have been very, very successful professionally here as well, at home. My audience, though, did not meet my offerings. In other words, if I have loans and credit items and, whatever the bank offers, that didn't meet the audience because their credit issues, they didn't have the financial education. You understand? It just didn't line up. It didn't line up. It may have lined up for Atlanta. You understand? It may have even lined up for Birmingham, Alabama, some other areas. But in Jasper County, it didn't fit the bill. And so I was stuck in a position that I now hated because I really wanted to make a difference. And then when the people came to the door, although we had this big sign out of the bank in the front, they came looking to me because they knew me. But I knew at the end of the day, there's nothing I could do for you, honey girl. You know what? I mean, really, my hands are so tied. And if you don't fit in this box, you're denied. I did that over and over for nearly 10 years. I learned the system. I outgrew the system. I knew there was other resources available. So then what do? What does a really meaningful, good person do? I ain't saying I'm great by any means, Miss J. But what does someone with a conscience do when you know I can take care of my family and we're fine, okay? But there's a saying that it takes a village, right, to raise a kid. Well, where does that come back into play, where we actually are our brother's keeper? And so I felt that burden, and I left. And you know, it's just very, very ironic that just well over maybe 2 months now, I was sitting in Senator Clemente's office with my business partners for this bank, and then fast forward. Now he's literally gone. He and 8 other beautiful souls are gone. It's almost unbelievable. Yeah.
Wow.
And then now this opportunity comes up. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not the professional politician. I'm just the girl that see a need and see an opportunity to do something else. And that's what it's all about. It's creating second chance or an opportunity for others when there was not one.
That's right.
Looking out for the small people.
Yeah.
You know, those that are rejected, overlooked, taken advantage of. I just stepped up to the plate with some courage that I found somewhere one day. And they're looking at me like, who is this lady? Where did she come? But anyway, so that's my story.
Okay. Well, that's a very good story, starting from where you did start to and from where you are now. So that says a lot.
Yeah, I believe in purpose, you know, and I refer to purpose as the place where an epiphany and destiny collides, where an epiphany, where you have an aha moment and your destiny collides. And I've done that essentially, but not just for me. It's to open up doors for other people and create opportunities for them.
Okay. Wow, that is great. So tell us, what are some of the important issues that you also want to be working on if you get the Senate seat?
Well, this particular seat is a seat in South Carolina's District 45.
Okay.
And in South Carolina, or SC, the initials, to me, stands for, in this campaign at least, a second chance. So the issues would include, but not limited to, eliminating a stigma that's over Jasper County and most of the Low Country, is being known as the corridor of shame. I mean, everybody wants to be on a winning team. When I hear that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. Like, that team really sucks, you know. I don't want to be a part of a corridor of shame. But everywhere you go, in fact, I was in Greenville one day last week in Greenville Tech, and President candidate Hillary Clinton was there. And she mentioned it almost in the closing of her speech. And I, of course, had to stand up and have a little dialogue with Ms. Clinton and say, if you can do anything with me help South Carolina by rebranding ourselves and telling our own story better, the story of the real Low Country. I am so passionate, Ms. J, that we do that we get the story right, you know, because many people, when they retire, they don't stay up north or move up north. They move to the south. Why? You don't think about it. Why do they move here? The weather's great. The people's cool. We speak to everybody. We have beaches. There's some loveliness that we're not sharing. So we need to change the perspective and really shine the light on our good areas, too. But some other areas include navigating through the current red tape that prevents funding from helping those who need it most, such as our educational systems, businesses, new business, existing businesses, local and state agencies, just issues that overall stimulate lasting economic growth, while also attracting major industries here and impacting the economy globally.
Okay. Wow. Well, so you'd be like the Obama of South Carolina.
Oh, my God. You know, that's a touchy situation. The South is known as being the Bible Belt, but, I mean, you know, we're unfortunately, and this is who I am, I'm so transparent, I'm so honest, sometimes it's taken as an offense, but it should not be. But the truth hurts. I say that to say this. The truth hurts sometimes. Doesn't mean that it's bad for you. It's like when, you know, your mother stopped you from running the street before you kill yourself. Well, she didn't stop you. I mean, she stopped you because she loved you. Otherwise you get hurt. Or you're sick and they give you medicine that doesn't taste good. I'm that person. I'm not always going to say what someone wants me to hear. Otherwise, I'll still be at that bank. Just think about it. I obviously believed in it enough to do something else. And sometimes doing that means going against the grain. And that sometimes with the South is very uncomfortable. But I've learned not very long ago, maybe within the last 2 years, to have courageous conversations. And this conversation is really good because it just reminded me of a conversation that I had with someone. And all that meant was for me to be able to tell my own truth. Once you know your truth, you should be courageous enough to speak it up. Not that it hurts anyone, but that it is what it is. And it is. The truth is the truth all by itself. What do you do with that? So I tell the truth. I'm courageous enough just to tell the truth. That's what sets me apart from the group.
Okay, great. Well, everybody needs to take that lesson and then learn to tell the truth as well.
Yeah, no, it may not always feel good, but, I mean, it's not an attack. It's done very, very respectfully, you know, in a good manner, and certainly coming from a good place. And just understand that it's for the greater good. And if we could just listen and really take that in and be like, wow, she might be on to something. Instead of me knocking her, at least just let me sit down and hear this young lady out. And that's what I'm asking people to do.
Okay, great. Okay, well, tell us, for the average woman or mother, how can you help the minorities who feel left out by the government?
Okay. Well, listen, everyone has a story, right? Ms. J has a story. Sheree has a story. These other average women and mothers and minorities have a story. But many times it feels like no one ever hears our story, or we're the only one. But I want to send a message to them that against all odds, this is their second chance. They now have someone who really cares, who really hears them. And so I would speak to the issues that touch them and their loved ones the most. I would also be opening doors of opportunities that's not yet provided, which impacts their children's education, grant access to finances, money, home ownership, to starting businesses, you know, that desire that they have, that they want to start this business as well. Enable them to actually do that, as well as create generational wealth. It's amazing today. We live in the 21st century, and we have so much at our disposal, and information is in abundance, yet we have so much, but we have so less. It's like, you know, catch 22. But I can remember my ancestors, they left a lot. They didn't have much, but they always bought some land. You know, they had a piece of property, or they had something. They had bonds, you know, saving bonds, things they bought for their children. They had stuff. They left a generational wealth. We have a lot of things now, but we have lost a lot of the fabric of who we were built on. And I want to bring that back. And to the same audience, there was a movie that really, really inspired me before my entire transition really manifested. It was the Spent movie. It's S-P-E-N-T. And spent is the feeling of having been used or unavailable or unable to be used again. Let's correct that. A feeling of having been used or unable to be used again, being used up, or consumed, or exhausted, or finished, depleted, drained, or burned out. Many people in that group you just asked me about feel that way. I understand that. And so the movie Spent was actually narrated by Tyler Perry, and it was a documentary that was put on by American Express to really point out and identify those that are left out of the financial mainstream. Okay, so that became my mantra. After I'm sitting here on this job and I'm good, me and my household was fine. But these people right here, for the majority of them, including people that work for the bank, so I'm not putting the spotlight on any one individual, but just collectively, we're struggling, you know, and it's just unfair.
Yeah, and you are so right about that, because like you said, with other the resources out there, it's amazing to see how little that people can actually be able to expand on their own wealth, especially to be able to do for their families. And it's like, it seems like when they try to make us one step forward, they get pushed 2 steps back. And a lot of times they feel like it's the government that's keeping them from progressing, and they just don't know where to go from there. But if they have somebody like you in the office, I'm pretty sure they will have an idea and at least some hope that they can actually move forward.
That's it. And that's what my message is. It's essentially to bridge the gap between the have and the have-nots, as well as, those. It's hope, service, and unity is my whole platform, my messaging. Bridging the gap with hope, service, and unity. And that's how we do it. We need to bridge those gaps with the corporate world, with the government. You understand? We need to be able to come together and really work. We need people to stay in their lanes. And what I mean by that, the government needs to focus on what the government does. The government has gotten into every other pocket there is. It's in business. It's in education. You understand? It's in healthcare. It's in everything else. And so we need to do better at that and let people do their jobs, because when you wear too many hats, you burn out.
Yeah.
You're spent. You're spent again, right? That's a lot of that's going on. And there's a lot of leaders, including those in government, who are our leaders, who are leading and bleeding. Leading and bleeding. They are hemorrhaging to death because of the stress that comes from the job. It's crazy. I've been there. Literally, I've been there. In a job, trying to, put up this facade. We know about faces. Women do it, especially all the time. Trying to look good on the outside and miserable on the inside. Well, the same thing happens in business. Same thing happens in politics. But because you got to live up to this unnecessary, unhealthy expectation, you lead, but you're bleeding. And then who do you confide in? So our mental health is an issue.
Yep.
I'm sorry, girl. When you start me, Miss J, I go in because it's just like it's enough.
Oh no, you're okay. It's fine because this is what people want to hear. That they're not the only ones that feel this way or think this way. That there's actually somebody with higher power that can actually help them out, and that's just like them. That would actually look out for them.
Yeah. So I came down from my mountaintop to live in the.
That's right. Okay. So tell us what.
Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was going to say, what separates you from those running against you?
My transparency. I have a natural ability to connect. I just met you, and we're talking like we're girlfriends, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's really, and let me tell you why. That comes because I know who I am now. There was a time when I tried to be everything to everybody else that they wanted me to be. And I had to just hit my pastor says, you hit your head to the white meat, or bust your head to the white meat or something like that. You fall really hard, and you wake up. And I've woken up now, and I understand that I don't need to jump through any hoops. You understand? I don't have to do that anymore. The best that I can give you and everybody else is just to be Sheree, and now I am. And so it's that natural transparency. Even the network of relationships that I have is phenomenal. I know and have friends from all over the world, and it's a beautiful thing. And they don't all look like Sheree. You understand? They aren't all from South Carolina, but we all have a purpose, and I'm very, very grateful for all of them that are in my life. And collectively, what we're trying to do is collaborate so that we can create some synergetic partnerships which will produce social reform, but at the end of the day will remain profitable. So, money touches everything. The Bible even says money answers all things. We know it's going to take the resources, but I just think it's an upside-down approach right now. We're only looking at the resources. But the most important form of capital is human capital. It's people.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I told you. I get on my soapbox and I just go.
And that's good. You're reaching out to all kinds of people.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Okay. So do you think the South Carolina, let me go to the question again one more time. Do you think South Carolina is ready for an African-American woman senator?
Ready or not, here I come. I'm not a singer, but I know that's a verse in somebody's song.
Okay.
Ready or not, here I Come. Another song that comes to mind is Don't Believe Me, Just Watch It. I believe that's Bruno Mars, right?
Yes, it is.
Look, I've already stepped up to the plate. I've jumped in the race. The world has already shifted. Why not South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina desperately needs a trendsetter, someone who is courageous enough to do something different, not, of course, in a destructive manner, but one that disrupts the current status quo for the greater good. And that person is me. It's me. You know, the saying goes, if you do what you've always done, you will get what you've always got. Well, it's time for change, and that change is here.
Wow. Okay. So how can people continue to support you and help you get in office? And what are your social media links so people can also keep in contact and just be up to date on your updates?
Okay. You know what I'm asking, Ms. J, is for people to simply hear me out. Okay. If they would just listen, just take a moment to actively listen to what I have to say. And by actively listening, what I mean by that is not in a defensive manner, but rather a posture of embracing the infinite possibilities that are all around us and imagining of a better, well-prepared South Carolina, a state that is competitive in the global economy. This is not just my opportunity, but South Carolina's opportunity to set the stage for the world. In fact, the world is already watching us. After what just took place with that killing of Senator Pinckney and those other souls, they're watching us. We have already proven that we are a special group of people. But now this is our opportunity to create a blueprint for the rest of the world to follow. That's the excitement and the motivation that I want the people here in South Carolina to get excited about. You know, I mean, really, let's do this. This is an open door. You know, it's like a huge portal of opportunity just waiting for us. And we can do it. I just need them to give me a chance to do it. Let me do it. It's not even giving me a chance. Let me do it. At the end of the day, they have to vote me in. I only have one vote. But in addition, we're asking that everyone take a moment to like us on Facebook at Sheree Darien for Senate. Okay. They can also, we invite them to follow us on Instagram at Sheree Darien and Twitter, Sheree at Sheree for Senate. There's also a link to give via our website, and the website address is www.shereeforsenate.com. And I'm calling this campaign, Ms. J, the Grace Campaign. Okay. The number of grace is 5. So we're asking people to give a minimum of $5. That's it. We don't want it to be pressured because we're seriously trying to reach back. We're trying to reach down, a bottom-up approach to those people that it needs to reach back down to and pull up. And so we don't want to make it difficult for people to be a part and participate. So we're making it easy. But we're calling it the Grace Campaign. And we're asking for $5, proving, we want to make a point, proving how a little can become much when it's placed in the right hands. And so just do a little bit and watch it manifest. I mean, just multiply it over time. And so they can go there and give, again, a minimum of $5 we're asking for this campaign. And what does that money go towards? It's not going to take care of me. It's going to help get me in the office. That's what it's going to do. And the way we do that is visibility. So I need to be on billboards. I need to be sending out flyers and you know, putting up signs and you name it, all of that. Everything that encompasses that, as well as going out and having speaking events at just wherever, everywhere in this District 45.
Okay, and we would definitely love to help support as well. With this link, will it be on the website under donations?
Yes, and it's a PayPal link. It is up there under donations. You got it. That is correct.
Okay, great. Okay, well, we'll share this information with our readers, too, to have them check it out and show their support.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you. We thank you and your magazine, Women in Shoes, for inviting us. And it's I mean, really, I can't say thank you enough. Thank you doesn't seem like it's enough to say.
Oh, and it's our pleasure. I really appreciate you for doing this interview with me as well.
I know you want to take my part in the limelight. Camera flashing, I'm so tired. Send the stage in your face to the other side. Fall back, take a seat, let me switch it up.